What does the soil look like in a Hugelkultur raised bed after 5 years? Let's show you. When I first started gardening, I used the traditional method. We tilled the soil, we planted corn, we did all of the traditional stuff most people were doing. The previous owners had set up this garden space and the soil looked pretty good. We were able to grow a few things here and there. To be honest with you, I had more failures than successes, and that happened to me for the next 2-3 years. That third year, I started doing some research and started learning more about setting up the space in a way that I could have some successes finally and get a better understanding of what it takes to build healthy soil. Hola amigos, welcome back to Sonnie's Place. My name is Emma. Today, I want to show you what the soil in a Hugelkultur raised bed looks like after 5 years. There's a misconception that we're feeding the plants to be successful. But the truth is that we need to feed the soil, nurture it, and create a wonderful environment of all this organic matter that then feeds the plants, and we get awesome, healthy, nutrient-dense food. I decided that I wanted more control of my growing space, and so I built a raised bed garden that I could fill with wonderful organic matter that would turn into this healthy soil that would then grow healthy plants. The best way that I knew how to do that, and most cost-effective, was to use the Hugel method, or Hugelkultur. Hugelkultur has actually been around for a long time, and it's the process of layering organic matter into mounds. So you start with tree branches and old logs, and on top of that you'll add twigs and leaves and other organic matter that breaks down nicely. And then on top of that you add a nice layer of soil, and then you directly plant into these mounds. So I wanted to use a combination of raised bed gardening with Hugelkultur, what's known as Hugel beds. When I built our beds, I went ahead and built them at soil level, and then I dug down about 1 foot down and started creating this layer of organic matter, starting with cardboard that would provide a natural weed barrier, and soaked it with some water, added some old firewood that we had sitting out for a couple of years, and then on top of that added some branches and leaves and kind of stomped that down so that it was nice and compact, and then added another layer of that and compacted it down once more. Then I added back that foot of soil that I had dug out on top of this, because the soil that I had actually dug out was pretty good condition. Once I had a good layer of that topsoil on there, I added another layer of about 3 inches of compost that I purchased from a local nursery. But the fantastic thing about raised beds in general is you can plant in them immediately. Not only were we able to control that immediate planting environment, we were also able to set a foundation for this wonderful breakdown of organic matter and natural processes to continually feed the soil for years to come. The biggest drawback for us is that these raised beds were made out of wood. And so those will break down as well as the natural processes take place. We found ourselves in a position where we need to replace these beds or create a new growing system, which is actually what we're going to do. Over the course of the last few days, I've been spending time prepping the area for the removal of the beds, but also examining what the soil in those beds look like. And I wanted to share that with you today because these beds have been here for about 5 years, some of them only 4. That gives us an opportunity to really look at the soil and see how this whole Hugelkultur thing works. Our goal with the new space is to use a lot of this soil for the new layout. Now to answer the question that we started off with. What does the soil look like in a Hugelkultur raised bed after 5 years? Let's show you. This is one of the first beds I built about 5 years ago that we filled in the Hugelkultur method. This one had a lot of crabgrass in it, so it took a little bit of effort to clear it out. Got great soil in here. How amazing this soil is. Look at this. Look at all that humus. So if you're looking into using Hugelkultur and using it in this setting, I highly recommend it. But we are making some changes here at Sonnie's Place. We're completely redoing the layout of our garden and going away from raised beds for just a little while. And the only reason is because everybody knows lumber prices are crazy. The other reason is that we're trying to get away from using wood because it does break down and it has a shorter lifespan using this method. Our long-term solution will be to build some raised beds, a lot in the style of my friend Don from Little Mountain Life. He has a really amazing raised bed garden area that we absolutely love, and we love the look of it too. So that's what we're going to be doing in the long term. But for this year, we're going to be setting up a no-till, no-dig garden. We're changing the layout of the garden to make the space more efficient and be able to grow more food. Using this method will allow us a cost-effective way of growing all the food that we want to grow this year. Well, that's it for us today. I've got to go ahead and finish weeding a couple of more beds. We've got some seedlings that are about ready to get planted, so I've got to get this space set up. Thanks so much for joining me. My name is Emma from Sonnie's Place, encouraging you to grow your best life. Adios.